Check one.
Vinny E. said join us live on YouTube at here.
Welcome aboard, everyone.
What exactly is out of the box, and why do our traders absolutely love it?
Michael Otru.
Speed of NQ 100 NA. Speed of NQ 100 NA.
Are you ready? Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, and what do we know about Wednesday? We've got a number of things. Let's come on down here into our main chat, and let's talk about it. We expect a candy day today. Why? Type it in the chat there while I get the music started up here. What did we talk about yesterday? Why did we say there was a high potential for today to be a candy day? Now, that's, of course, setting expectations. The markets can, at any moment, send us any degree of anything. But why were we saying that today might be that candy day?
Speed of NQ 86.
Yes, we do have Wacky Wednesday. Let's grab the security stuff here. Make sure our real-time protection is turned off there, so our PC is running nice and smooth here this morning. Make sure you do the same if you are rolling with it. Our day. So we have had two what I would call difficult days back to back, and market cadence would dictate that today may potentially be just a fairly easy, straightforward setup day. Currently at the top left here, you see I've got my full auto Enigma turned on here for the first pre-market here and the first 5 minutes of the US Open. Of course, I'll still be doing analysis looking at the setups here. I see right up above we had a double cross at the bottom, double cross at the top, so I'm going to mark that as a zone. So if you want to do that as well, you have that on your charts. I'm here on the ones. Confluence level 3 on Enigma if you are using my settings. That's what I currently have set up here. So we went from a zone above, we moved down into this one. Looks like we might be farming another one right here. We'll go ahead and mark that as well. Good morning. After many trend days, market cadence. That is pretty darn close. There are actually easy trend days and there are hard trend days. Just FYI. Now, let's look at the stark comparison. If you remember yesterday, I tried to drive this home so much. If you missed yesterday's live stream, you want to go watch that to look at the compare and contrast from yesterday to today. And let's go up to the top left here. Do you see any alpha omegas on this chart? How many alpha omegas do you see on this chart? Type it in the chat there. Keep in mind, let's think about how many we saw yesterday. So yesterday you saw clusters of alpha omega crosses on this chart, and now literally this morning, you don't hardly see any at all from the overnight. Let's do Control R here, move all drawing objects just in case here. And I mean, let's refresh.
Speed
I'm going
of
to press
NQ82.
F5 here and refresh this chart.
Speed of NQ82.
Yes, we see 0. Yes, every feature said 0, Jag 0, missile 0. Yeah, we don't have any. But how many did we have yesterday? Right? Clusters of so many, right? So that means we're not in that situation again here today. In fact, it is, I mean, it's almost empty. It's almost scary here. Oh, there's one. 13. All the way back from yesterday, a few minutes before the close. Look at that. A 13. Now, of course, there were tons, and in the afternoon, it didn't really matter. What matters is in the morning. What does the morning shape up there to tell us how we're going to prepare for the day? Okay. So, speaking of preparing for the day, let's zoom back here on the highest time frames. We'll see everything. Just so you guys know, I am expecting a phone call here this morning from some legal items that we're working with. So I will have to take that call here in a little bit. But here is a gigantic 89 tick drop off. Look at this. Overnight, just complete sell off. Now mind you, I mean, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but did I not say this could absolutely happen? They push the market up, right up to the open. So they say, oh, we just closed a little negative yesterday, or even crazier if they'd put it right just above the open at the end of the day yesterday, as I said. Leave it open. That way, what can they say on CNBC? Oh, hey, no worries. Keep all your money in your 401ks. There's no problems in the markets. Markets are looking great. Markets are looking healthy. You know, no need to panic. And then after hours, sell off, right? And there it is. There's the real deal right there. Okay. So, there's a big drop off. Let's watch how things roll up here. I do see a bit of clustering here. Now,
Speed
overnight,
NQ62.
yeah, there was some size coming in there, all straight down. It looks like into the sell-off, but now we're kind of clearing out here. But yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on the trades here this morning. Currently, we are about 6 minutes from the US Open. And I've got the full auto turned on there for, again, the first few trades here. We'll see how we go there this morning. I think I'm going to go 5 small and start there because I know I am going to have to take that call here in a little bit. So I'm going to be adjusting my size as this plays through and might be relying on full auto here a little bit until I get that call here this morning.
Speed of NQ69.
Okay, whoa, so about 5 minutes before the open,
DCDM NQ on
things
the one.
are waking up. Just got some action there. So right to the top of that zone, tapped in and dropped. We didn't get a double cross there this time though, so that looks like that's probably the last time they're testing that. So we'll see if we get a distribution farther beyond these two little zones here. We have now 4 minutes till the US Open. Make sure and smash that like button. If we get to 50 likes, don't forget, we'll go beyond the first 15 minutes.
Speed of NQ.
If we don't get 50 likes, no worries. We'll be back
Speed
in
of
the afternoon.
264.
But if we do get those 50 likes, we'll be here for the full morning session.
DCDM NQ on the one. Speed
So
of NQ
don't forget, if you are new with us,
121.
you can get the Mac VU that you see right here inside of our Discord on the left-hand side. You are a member of our community. Currently, Mac VU set to strong sell here this morning.
Fib.NQ
But
on
no
the
surprise there, as they sold off overnight all the way down here. Okay, we got about 2 minutes and 45 seconds till the U.S. Open.
Lower
Don't
bands
forget,
touch
I like to
NQ
sit on my hands
30.
for the first 5 minutes of the U.S. session, 9:30 to 9:35. However, I let my full auto
Speed of NQ
run there for those first 5 minutes.
Lower bands touch NQ
And then I
on the
can start
30.
taking discretionary trades after that.
DCDM-NQ on the 1. DCDM-NQ on the 1. Lower bands touch NQ on the 30.
Okay, 1 minute. We are now 1 minute from the U.S. Open.
Lower bands touch NQ on the 30.
Make note of that cluster right there for potential reversals.
Lower bands touch NQ on the 30. Lower bands touch NQ on the 30.
So that shark tail on a 10.4 pivoted, pushed it down pretty good. Here comes about 5 seconds to the open.
Speed divergence of NQ on the 92. Lower bands touch NQ on the 30. 252. Lower bands touch NQ on the 30. DCDM NQ on the 1. Lower bands touch NQ on the 30. Lower bands touch NQ on the 30. Enigma long on the NQ1.
Target filled.
All right, target filled. Wow, let's see how fast that was. I couldn't have reacted that as a human. $290 in the first play there. And we'll be tracking that down here. We haven't talked about this in a while because I kind of feel like everybody kind of knows now. There we go. Trade number 2, and that's $580 there. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I can now turn my system off. We have 2 winners out of 5 trades right off the bat there this morning. Now I can look for a perfect bonus trade. So if you want to know how I like to track those, if I'm teaching someone brand new with us, or if I were to go back to my younger self and say, hey, Vinny, here's how I found things to work out. Once I have caught the market cadence well, I've got winner, winner, chicken dinner. That means 2 winners within 5, and that P&L I need to be satisfied with. So $580 on a day, not too bad. We've been live streaming here for about 15 minutes. Those 2 trades happened in a number of, not maybe just a couple of minutes, but that's as simple as we kind of do right there. $580, 2 trades, How do I track it? Bottom left down here. Can you guys see my hand? Kind of look at the bottom left of your screen here. I'm kind of waving my hand down here. This is actually on my desk. This is a physical $500 sheet here. $500 is kind of innocuous to what we're doing here, because when I was really starting into trading, I needed to replace my income, which is around $500 a day at that time, with the senior level development that I was doing. So I found out that I figured I would be satisfied if I could do $500 a day to replace my income with trading. So I created a sheet like this for myself a long time ago. You can actually print one of these out yourself on the left hand side of Discord in the Vinny's Tips and Tricks section. And of course we go over that in the training program as well. But I like to track my trades physically on my desk so that I don't overtrade. That is a little trick to do that. So I've got 2 trades in here this morning. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to take one of these coins off. So I use these fun little golden Trump coins here. So that was trade number 1. And that's trade number 2. So I can visually kind of tell myself I want to come into the game like a video game. Video games oftentimes will give you X number of lives. They'll say, hey, you're starting out with 5 lives. And then you look at your points at the end of your 5 lives in a video game. And here I kind of try to approach the markets like a video game and go, all right, there's my 5 lives. I need to do my best throughout this. And then what points did I put on the board in order for me to be satisfied with that points on the board, if you will, quotes here, which is your P&L. Make sense? So there we go. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Now, if I wanted to reset that cadence, we have a video around this where I would go, okay, so now I want to wait for perhaps a couple of losers to go by and go, okay, so if I mentally took a couple of those trades, let's move this over here now because we're looking at the slightly higher time frame just a moment ago. I do think I saw at least one loser that didn't work out. Yes, this one right here. So I might mark this one to go, okay, so market started moving into a different cadence right there. That was actually a winner right there. So another one, winner, straight down, hit that target almost instantly. So that's a winner. This one will be a loser. So I mark one loser. Let's see if we got another one. So I might wait until 2 losers in the morning, 3 in the afternoon before I reset my cadence. And then I can take more trades until I get 2 winners again. Does that make sense? Okay, so as of right now, if I were following the cadence strategy to go, okay, so I want to take more trades now after I've got winner, winner, chicken dinner. There's loser 1 during our cadence. Oh, I just heard another one. Let's see if this one works out. Roll over to the right. And there's 2. Great. So that is 2 losers in a row. And I can tell you one of the things, we can filter that pretty easily right here. Why? We talk about, let me pull this always on top here so I can draw on it. So we have found historically that if the current histogram on the MACV is sitting here at 0, the 0 point right in the middle, then we want to skip those enigmas. Now we could code that, and that is on the docket, particularly for the platinum members. However, you would need to currently filter that manually on your own. If you did see that the histogram was sitting at 0, you can either don't take that trade, or what I like to do is actually reverse that trade. So turn a winner into a loser by scalping that on for target 1, or the opposite direction whenever we have a situation where we are completely flat on the histogram. So this one we could have made money by simply, instead of going long here as it called, there was the target, it did not get there before it went back behind the enigma, which is where the stop would be. So as soon as this enters, instead I press reverse and go short and target the back of the enigma right here. So if I enter right here, instead of going long, we nix that, we go short, and we hit a target off of one that is a scenario where the MACV histogram is flat. Everybody understand that? If you get it, type me a 1. That would be awesome. And while you're there, smash that like button. So now I could actually take the next trade. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do that as an example here with you here today. I'm going to turn the cadence on because there have been 2 losers gone by. So I'm going to start again and see if I can add to my $580 here this morning, as it's only 9:36. We're only 6 minutes past the open, and I haven't got my call yet, so I'll still be here with you for looks like a little bit longer. And if you do have questions about that, type them there in the chat, and we can also get you a link to some of those Cadence strategy videos using the Enigma particularly as an example, but you can use this for other strategies in our wheelhouse as well.
DCDMNQ on the 1. Fib.NQ on the 9. Lower bands touch NQ on the 30. Enigma lower bands touch NQ on the 30. Lower bands touch NQ on the 30.
And there it is. Targets filled. So there's my bonus. That puts us up $1,240
Lower bands
for the morning
NQ on the 30.
with some Cadence. Does everybody understand that one right there? Almost instantly goes straight up to, I mean, almost call on the bottom there. Pretty awesome. Big drops in. Boom. Enigma's like, I don't think so.
NQ on the 30.
Back it back up. So from my perspective, in comparison to the last 2 days where it has been difficult, as I showed you guys yesterday and what we talked about this morning, we prepared for a fairly simple, straightforward day here today, and it looks like we mentally prepared well for that. Had I not had my call scheduled here this morning, I probably would have sized up instead of going 1 on my quantity up here. I would have gone a quantity of 2 normally, as you guys saw. Kind of saw me. I had it on 2, and I'm like, let me just go 1 just in case. If they call right off the bat there, I don't want to have additional risk on. But I should be up more than double that on a normal day without scheduled legal calls here this morning that I know I've got to be on. So $1,240 across 20 accounts. You do the math on that. I'm sure one of our awesome crew here, Eddie, will be editing our
Fib.NQ on the 9.
video title there and keeping that up to date there on our 20 account copier.
97.
Don't forget, Algobox does have a 20, well, not a 20. It has a trade copier in it where you can trade up to 20 accounts copied inside of our copier. We've heard really good things from people who have used other trade copiers online. It's included in Algobox, so that's been pretty cool. Don't forget, it is Christmas in July. We only do the ultimate discount offer twice a year, and it's going on right now. It started on July the 10th through July the 25th for Christmas in July, and you are getting 50% off of the full auto system. Normally $5,000, you're getting 50% off, $24.99 if you use code Algobox with an Apex account. So go check that out. If you are on the fence about rocking it out with us, make sure you get it before July 25th.
Speed of NQ 87.
Title's been updated. Awesome. Thank you, Eddie.
Enigma long on the NQ1.
So in that Cadence, we had that one. Looks like we got another one right here. Let's see if that one gets to target. There it is. Another winner back to back.
Enigma long on the
I do
NQ1.
expect that today would be
Enigma long on the NQ1.
fairly easy, just because of what had gone on recently. So we go back to Cadence, and there is, I like to mark them with the F11 tool. 2 back-to-backs, and are we surprised? No. Look at where we are. We are flat. Are we flat?
DCDMNQ on the 1.
If you guys have any questions on that, type them there in the chat, but I think I've tried to teach us along the way as we go through our live streams. Hopefully you guys are really picking up on that. We will have new training videos. We did have decided who had agreed to do some of our training videos for us, but then decided to, for whatever reason, back out on that.
Touch NQ on the 30.
So sometimes people, when they get a touch of fame and make some money, they get a little cocky. It happens.
Lower bands touch NQ on the 30.
So we'll be doing those ourselves, and we will be updating those. We've been keeping up with the documentation section. Hopefully you guys like the new documentation section on the algoboxpro.com website.
Lower bands touch NQ on the 30. touch NQ on the 30. Speed of NQ.
So if you are looking into that documentation section up here at the left, how to, documentation,
NQ on the 30.
and then on the left hand side, anything from how does the 120-day program work?
Lower bands touch NQ on the 30.
What about the algo bars? How are those different from time bars? Our various chart layouts during your installation. What is contract rollover, trading sessions, all the things that I teach you. We are building out this entire kind of living documentation section on all of our various layouts. There's your one of our favorite two-finger salute setups there that also comes with the current system. I'm sorry, with the current offer. The full auto on that is also coming with that offer here during the Christmas in July, which normally is not included. So very cool stuff there. Go check out the documentation section, and there will be even more additional updated videos on those. I created these videos a long time ago, probably back in starting 2016. Wow, it's really been 8+ years now. And so we're going to do a little, facelift on those, and of course include some of the new tools that we didn't have 8 years ago. That is a beautiful Enigma. How far did that one fire off? That is a monster up move. Wow, that Enigma launched at 73 ticks to the upside. Beautiful stuff there. Technically a moonshot because you also had crosses to the left. So anytime you have a cross near one of these within 15 bars of a cross, that's going to be considered a moonshot. So that did have the power of the moonshot right there.
Speed of NQ.
Double cross at the bottom of a zone for the reversal again as well. That is getting very wide, so it looks like we might have a pretty big move coming up there.
Fib.NQ on the 30. Enigma long on the NQ1.
And if you are new with us and you wanted to do a 2-week free trial, again, there are no strings attached, 2-week free trial there for you. If you're trying to figure out how to get that installed, you can also go to that same how-to section at the top of the website, click how to install, and this will take you through the entire installation and setup of getting AlgoBox installed. Literally takes like 5 minutes.
DCDMNQ on the 1.
Okay, so from a cadence perspective, we got 1, 2. I would be turning this on again. Right now it is 9:45. Let me check the news. I'm going to go into our room here and type !news and see if we have any news here at 9:45 or 10 a.m. We do have a new news indicator that will be released in this next update coming out in August. The second week in August
on the 30.
is our planned feature release.
Lower bands touch NQ on the 30.
Got some pretty neat features coming along with that, particularly around the double delta and news. And Curtis, remind me, what are the other items on our list? If you can send me a quick note here on some of the items we've already completed out. Those are the only two off the top of my head that I recall at the moment.
530.
9:35, and no, we have no 10 a.m. news here, but this speed is telling me be very careful here. That's what this giant X is telling me here. I mean, we can turn that psychology module on or off to give me a visual indication. I can also change the background color to tell me that as well. There is another winner. Beautiful. Off of that Enigma. Boom. Another 20 tick up move. Yeah, that news indicator is actually going to draw it there on the screen for you, give you a visual indicator and an audio indicator on your chart itself. It will be pulling from forexfactory.com or Econoday. I believe Forex Factory kind of stops us from doing the pulls from them now, so we're currently using Econoday for that information. but they're both great. So you can click on this one, press the B for background. If I want the psychology module to also go ahead and color my background and say, look, I could just look away. Like, don't look at the charts right now. It is way too fast. This is, the current speed is 515. Not ideal for a human to be sitting there trying to take plays when the speed is this fast. Make sense? And up to you whether or not you want to turn your bot on or not.
Upper bands touch NQ on the 30.
If you're using the full auto or semi-auto systems.
Upper bands touch NQ on the 30. Upper bands touch NQ on the 30. Lower bands touch NQ on the 89. Upper bands touch NQ on the 30.
All right, it is 9:47:48 now.
NQ on the 30.
12 minutes till the top of the hour. Okay, we are currently at flat 0 right now. Be very careful with the plays here when the MACV is at flat 0. Thank you, CG. Oh yes, we discussed this yesterday. So additional features we've got here. We've got 4 new radio buttons that will be right here on your Enigma bot panel there, so that you can switch between confluence levels on the fly. I'll be talking about how I'll be using that. One of my favorites is to start in with an L3, slightly higher. Remember, L4 is the highest, but particularly on the ones. If I'm on Algobar 1s, I want to be on confluence level 3, which is multi, that implies how much power of confluence do I want along with this setup, and that is what we call the Enigma. Now, I want a level 3 generally. However, after I'm into a play, let's say that I want to do the EE strategy. So what is that? The entry exit strategy. So I want to enter in on an Enigma, holding until I see an opposing one for the exit, which would mean I would be having, say, for instance, a green Enigma long, and I don't want to exit. I want to hold until I get an opposing signal red. Now, while I want the entry to be a very strong L3, but if I'm happy to exit on an L1, do you see where I'm going with this? I know we got a lot of smart members in our crew here. Do you see how that could be very useful for an entry exit system? Yes. So I can switch from an L3 to an L1 on the fly without having to, you know the deal. This is just more of a simplicity thing. It's nothing stopping you from doing that right now. But you know that it's a 3-step process, right? Right-click your chart, click on indicators, find the indicator, click on it, make the change, save and apply. So if you're talking about every single click, there's actually like 5 or 6 clicks just to get in that window and out of that window to do it. So I wanted to place that right here at our fingertips. So that is another enhancement that's coming. I did mention the double delta alert that fires off. We're going to have a beautiful vertical drawing that's along with text. You know, you can have it or not have it, up to you. You can turn it on or off to have the double delta alert for you whenever there's a double delta on any time frame, and draw it on the chart where it is, where it's located, and a nice big gigantic vertical for you so that you know how I play it. That for me means ready up. After one of those, it will literally say ready up on your screen. And I personally like to take the next play. I'm not telling anyone how to trade. I'm not telling you, you should do this or you need to do that. Remember, everything that you guys are doing here, you are following along with me, seeing how I approach the markets. If you want to do that, up to you. Let's see. Want to make sure.
Lower bands touch NQ on the 30. Lower bands touch NQ on the 30. Speed of NQ 439.
Yeah, slight change to the trade copier. So we originally put it with 1 leader account and 19 copy accounts, but some people said, hey, Vinny, I like to run my leader account as a sim account and my follower accounts to be my accounts with Apex. So they wanted all 20 plus 1. So 20 plus 1, semi-minor change, but we do have that in the next version that's coming out in August as well.
Lower bands touch NQ on the 30. NQ on the 9. Enigma.
We've got some additional short keys added for stack 30 and far target spreads. Hotkeyable in the next version.
Speed of NQ 390.
We have added some additions to, we had some feedback around the no-fiddle zone to avoid the MACV flat 0 entries. We've got a section that will basically put
NQ on the 9.
A zone around 1/5 of 1 standard deviation, which would basically be like very, very close zone to that flat 0 zone that we just talked about. Like basically right now. Like right now, we want something to stop me from taking a trade when it's flat 0 like that, right? So just basically just on the outside of that, just inside of that. So 1/5 of a standard deviation off of the 0 line. We'll have a little miniature zone there in order to filter. And of course you can either
NQ on the 1.
not take that trade as a complete filter. Oh, look at that beautiful moonshot right there. We need to label that one up. That is a beauty.
Speed of NQ 447. Speed
you gotta love a moonshot. Get some moonshot hype in the chat, can we? That's a beautiful one right there. Look at the move off of that moonshot. And all started with an Enigma down here, then secondary push-up. That is a beauty. That's already moved instantly, almost 82 ticks in seconds. Wow, all the way up to the 15.9. Let's get a measure up to that 15.9 right there. Let me take off that red background. I'm sure that's bothering you guys by now. So again, speed is very difficult to trade manually, but if you had full auto turned on there, grab that moonshot, that's a beauty. Hold to the opposing signal gets you 101 ticks. That went 101 ticks to the opposing signal.
Speed of NQ
beautiful. And of course, again, this isn't every single day it's this easy, but we did say because of the cadence of the last 2 days being difficult, that typically what we have seen over time, historically, using stats that we have seen for years and years, that you get that cadence of difficult, and then boom, just the day that everybody kind of gives up because they're like, oh, they've just gotten beaten up 2 days in a row. They don't want to come in on the 3rd day. If you come in on that 3rd day, got beautiful, beautiful news. Let's see. Station versus filter. And we've got an audio alert for the no-fiddle zone as well.
Speed of NQ 405. DCDM NQ on the 1. Speed of NQ 375.
Let me expand this down. Patrick had a longer question here. How do you think about your charts when the wave shows, for example, lower band is very close to or above the lower golden ropes? Lower band is very close to or above the lower golden ropes versus when those are much farther apart. So I'm happy to comment on all things that I teach, but you're asking about something like
Enigma long on the NQ
that doesn't apply to the way that I approach the markets at all. Has no bearing on it whatsoever. You know, if you are convinced that you have a belief in what you want to do with things when things are where they are, then you are happy to do that. I don't have any comment on that, whether it is or it isn't. Again, if you have questions around our strategies particularly, no problem. My example around those is there are sometimes when you just don't trade. You don't have a thought or a bias or a idea around something that sounds like something that falls into that category. And I tell people, I kind of use a cloud example. If you stare up into the sky and you see the clouds, and sometimes you can see shapes in the clouds, like, oh look, there's Bart Simpson. Wow, look at that cloud right there. It absolutely looks like Bart Simpson. Now, it may look like Bart Simpson to you, but you ask somebody else and they're like, what? I'm not seeing Bart Simpson there. Sometimes it's just a cloud. So if it is obvious, we're taking place. I don't have a play for every situation. And you shouldn't either. You shouldn't be like, well, what do I do in this case? What do I do in this case? We get a lot of that, and I try to just tell you, stop asking that question. Unless you know I've commented on it before, unless you know that, okay, we have a strategy around this situation, then sure, happy to. And if you don't know, I mean, I'm happy to tell you, like right now, we have no strategy around that we've never said anything about that. But be careful of getting into the habit of going, what do I do when this, and this occurs, when they're not part of our strategy, how we approach things. Sometimes it's just a cloud. It means nothing. If you're trying to predict the rain, well then, what would you need? Would it be a, is your Bart Simpson in the clouds going to add to the rain? Because the rain can get you paid, right? The rain can grow your crops. However, can that, if you've identified a shape in the clouds, is it going to get you paid? No. So, however, if those clouds are very dark and gray, and, I'm saying, like, you can tell when it's going to rain, because it's obvious, well then we may want to go grab a bucket, right? Or, whatever else you might want to do when you know it's about to rain. So when I teach you how to know when it's going to rain, but you ask me, hey, what about this cloud formation? I see Marge from The Simpsons in the clouds. And you're like, what do I do when I see Marge in the clouds?
Lower bands.
You see what I'm saying? I don't tell you to do anything. Make sense? Like, it has no indication whether it's going to rain or not. Look at that beautiful moonshot. Again, all this way straight up, calls the bottom to target build once again on that moonshot. That was very nice. Label that one up as well. I really like to label up my moonshots because they are my favorite play. Now, on one of those difficult days, like we had the last 2 days, even the moonshot had a hard time. Usually the moonshot is such a very easy play for me.
Divergence up NQ on the
but
30.
when they're in those hard days, that's what I mean by
Speed
defining those hard days.
of NQ 500.
And we could have anticipated it. How? When you see that clustering of the AOs on the low time frame, that's when we know, okay, this is danger. You could just sit out that day, or if you can make the shift, if you can mentally make the shift of how you have to play that differently. Yeah, market's on the move now. So hopefully that is a word picture example that you guys can remember in the future. Hopefully that's helpful to you. Does that make sense, Patrick? No, honestly, I wouldn't even say an area to avoid or be more cautious. Like, I'm not saying that either. Okay, so again, I don't believe that's the case. Sometimes it literally doesn't mean anything. I mean, there could be a marge in the clouds and it could rain, but the two are not correlated.
NQ 429.
That would simply be coincidence. What we're looking for are things of causation. We're looking for correlation and causation, not coincidence.
DCDM NQ on the 1. Enigma long on the NQ1. Fib.NQ on the 30. Lower bands touch NQ on the 89. DCDM NQ on the 1.
Hey, JZ 2000 up 2K on the day. Awesome, my friend. Happy to hear it.
Speed of NQ 5.
Anybody else want to share their P&L for the day? Type it there in the chat. We'd love to hear it.
DCDM NQ on the 1.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the volunteer, Josh. So one of the things about tweaking people's machines, so you know, there are, what is that old phrase where they say, no good deed goes unpunished? You know that phrase? What does that phrase mean? You ever think about it? And sometimes, you know, when I was younger, I didn't really understand that, like, no good deed goes unpunished.
Speed
So let's give a hypothetical here. If I were to, let's say that somebody says, hey, Vinny, I want to tweak my machine and make it as fast as possible. Can you help me? Right? And I agree to help them. Well, doesn't that sound really nice of me?
Lower bands touch NQ on the 89.
It sounds really nice of me. So, well, that sounds like a good thing, right? What would be wrong with Vinny helping someone tweak their machine to make it as fast as possible? Well, you might think, oh yeah, that'd be cool. Remote into their machine, make some changes. Cool. Well, what happens if, for whatever reason, I mean, I'm not responsible for what that person does with it afterwards, right? I don't know what changes they made afterwards, or, you know, I don't know, maybe it doesn't work in their PC. Or let's say that while I'm working on their machine, they get a power blip in their area. They get, who knows what, right? Something happens now. Oh, well, coincidentally, I was on their machine when I fixed X, Y, and Z, right? What do? Oh, Vinny broke my computer, right? I mean, this is the type of stuff that, unfortunately, in today's age particularly, everybody's looking for somebody to blame for something. So, you know, we cannot take responsibility or liability for even helping someone. Like, sure, I'd love to help somebody, but we won't. You understand? Like, we cannot take that kind of liability because, you know, people will blame you for anything these days, regardless of whether it is or it isn't. So therein lies the no good deed goes unpunished. So you do a good deed, But then they turn around and, you know, because let's say that it's working for them for a week and then whatever reason, Windows doesn't update or whatever, they don't know it, right? How many people get Windows updates overnight? Almost everybody, right? Windows, in fact, Home Edition, they force Windows updates. So how do you know that the Windows update didn't break your computer? All you remember is that, well, Vinny was on my computer one time and fixed my computer. And again, we don't do these. Everything I'm saying here is all hypothetical for the people who are like trying to, you know, there are people who all the time trying to, the hackers and attackers and scammers are constantly trying to discredit me. So they'll take some phrase out of context and go, look, Vinny said that he broke somebody's computer, or, you know, whatever they're going to, you know, clip and save. So, but I am, you know, speaking hypothetically here that if I were to work on someone's machine, so to speak, now they're going to blame me, right? That's why we have, when you come in, you do a ticket from us, like we're saying, hey, any of the changes that we're making, we're not liable for any changes, any issues whatsoever. And we are only here to only do this one thing, to get your AlgoBox functioning. That's it. We are not responsible for performance of your PC. We make no guarantees that you're, I mean, how do you know that you didn't, if you bought a new computer that, you know, from whatever company, and you got a bad die on your silicone, right? What if you got a bad silicone die and your CPU just does not work? How can we, you're like, Vinny, is it going to work? Look, I'm not going to tell you if it's going to work or not. We cannot take that liability. We're in a full-fledged company. We are the largest futures trade room in the world. We are the #1 algorithmic trading platform in the world. And with the size and numbers that we do, someone is going to have an issue, right? Somewhere. So we just do what we can to protect the liability of ourselves and for them. It's protection of both. Okay, so if you need help with your PC, you need to go and talk with a local technician who's local to you, who can take the time and effort to work with you. That is why we don't do PC tweaks and helping people do all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? So there's a long and lengthy one. Speaking of other things that have occurred, let's talk about all of the impersonator accounts online. Okay, there are all kinds of impersonator accounts out there impersonating me because they use the trust that we've established with our community to abuse people. So be very careful. If you think that you're talking to me, make certain that you're actually talking to me. I had an incident this morning. Let me pull up our website here. Someone said, hey, Vinny, I talked to you yesterday. And I'm like, I didn't talk to anyone yesterday. And let me just pull it up so I don't misquote it. Give me a moment.
Divergence up NQ on the 30. DCDM NQ on the 1. NQ 400 NQ 53. Speed of NQ 403.
Okay, so let's make this public service announcement. Beware of scammers. And now, scammers is such a generic term because there are so many, right? There's the John Matthew Cowart type of scammer. There is the ICT type of scammer. There is the Dr. Hanley type of scammer. I mean, okay, in this industry, there's a lot of scammers, but I'm talking about the impersonator scammers, okay? So this is being specific. Beware of impersonator scammers. You think you're talking to me because they created an account that looks like mine somewhere, whether it's on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube or Discord, okay? If you are talking with someone who you believe is me, and they're talking about a service that we're not offering on our website, okay, that should be a giant red flag, but don't fall for these scams, okay? Let me give you an example of someone who, even this morning, even though I talk about this all the time, we have it in our room, like beware of impersonators impersonating me online, saying all kinds of things. John Matthew Cowart has literally written stuff and said, look what Vinny said. Like, I didn't say that at all, but is trying to use it in court cases when him and his little secret group try to frame me for stuff that they do. This happens all the time. Now, here's an example from this morning. This is someone, I'm just going to call them John. Okay, so John texts me, says, I was on the phone with you yesterday and my internet went out. We had an online meeting about automated trading on autopilot. I said yes, and I was sent to a page where there was information on my net worth, and all you wanted was a percentage of the interest rate. I was all in. Okay, this should be a huge red flag to anyone. No, this is obviously whoever this person talked to, it's clearly an impersonator account, okay? But people think it's me. It's not me. This is not just happening to me. This happens to many influencers online, anyone with a presence online who is, you know, known. They will use that trust relationship that you've established with your trading community or any other community. This happens in outside of us, outside other communities, people, you know, getting you to send them crypto, etc. Making you promises of investments, etc. So this is not a service that we offer, but you know, someone coming to me, genuinely asking me in our website saying, hey, I talked to you yesterday. I'm following up. I'm going, oh shoot, that's not cool. So again, my note to them this morning, hey there, my friend, we had no such call with you. Beware of impersonators online. If you believe you spoke with me, I can assure you that is not true. If someone is impersonating me online and offering you external services, that is a scam. Report the account or the information you have and block the fake accounts. We have no such offering that you are describing. Okay, so I don't want you guys to fall for these. There are many of these. We actually pulled a report the other day just for the last 2 years. Just in Discord alone, we have a log of how many times some account tries to take over my name in our room. We literally have a bot written that will log that, and there were over 120 times just in the last 2 years in our room. That's almost one every other day coming into our room. And again, we block it and remove them, but then they will send direct messages. They'll try to add you as a friend request on Discord. That's one of the many ways they do it. So just be careful of anyone saying they're Vinny and they're saying something off or something that sounds too good to be true. There's no way. I mean, let's be honest. Our system is pretty darn good. So, I mean, you could be like, well, I mean, I've seen the Enigma. It's awesome. You may believe it's too good to be true. Okay, but you know what I'm saying. If they're like, Vinny, you said that you would trade for me. Vinny, you said that you, I don't even know what. There's so many things that have been said. Just be careful, okay? There are a lot of accounts. It's very easy to copy people's accounts online. If you have any questions, call the telephone number on our website, okay? Call the number. Like, have a chat with me directly. You call me. Don't me call you, okay? That's, I mean, that's how they work. They're like, oh, well, you did this, and you set up a thing with me. I saw an account. You showed me an account, and you said you were going to trade for me. And then you said, send me crypto to this website. And I'm like, bro, that's a scam. Don't do it.
Upper bands touch NQ on the 30. Upper bands.
Thanks for that, Redneck. Appreciate it.
NQ 397. Enigma long on the NQ1.
Okay, Whiskers is talking about one right now. Whiskers, could use your help. I think it's a scam. Email says, they have renewed my Norton subscription. How do I see if I even have Norton? Don't fall for this stuff, folks. Don't fall for these things. No, it's all fake. Do not believe everything that's being written to you online. Yes, if you don't know about it and they're contacting you and they say, I don't think I do, it's $479 a year. Whiskers, that's fake. Is Whiskers out here on the live stream? Will someone ping him? He's typing in the Discord chat. No, sir. That is a scam. It's a very common scam.
DCDMNQ on the 1.
They're trying to be, they're doing, I mean, you're doing exactly what they want you to do. What? I don't have that. And then of course you contact them and they're like, oh, sorry, it's a misunderstanding. But listen, it's only $199. Well, what? Huh? And you're like, well, we already charged it to your account. Okay, look, here's the deal. You send me your credit card information. I'll back out, you know, and then they got your credit card information. They start running up fake stuff. Just be very careful online. Don't fall for scams. And especially, you know, if there's an account saying it's me, verify it's me. Okay, you can always get me on a telephone call. I mean, it's not always, obviously. I've got downtime. Okay, but I'm saying, you know, normal business hours, just call us, right? Have a chat. But don't be sending people crypto. You guys know I hate crypto. You guys know I think it's very dangerous. type of currency, I'm doing air quotes here, currency. When you are responsible for your own safety, I literally hold no crypto. Do not want a thing to do with crypto. Have you guys seen how many people have been killed for crypto? Very scary. Not worth it. My family is worth too much to me to put them in harm's way like that. My family has been threatened so many times from these scammers like Cowart and Adam Webb and Mike Smith and ICT,
CDMNQ on the 1.
Peter Davies of Jigsaw.
Up NQ on the 9.
They will threaten to harm you and your children. They have no moral compass. And when it comes to crypto,
Enigma long on the NQ1,
definitely not.
On the 9. Fib.NQ on the 30.
You do not want that.
Upper bands touch NQ on the 596. 75. Speed of NQ 576. Upper bands touch NQ on the 30. Upper bands touch.
Okay, so the coffee time warning already has come and go. Let's go up to the top left here and
Enigma long on the NQ1.
have a look at that. Man, these things are just killing it. Look at this big one right here. How far did this one go? $88 ticks straight up from that one to the 13.7. Okay, we covered a lot of things. I'll open the chat here for a few minutes here for questions. So it is technically coffee time, 10:10 to 10:30. We like to sit on hands, grab a coffee, all that kind of stuff. I smell bacon cooking downstairs, so I'm going to go grab some bacon as well along with that. Speaking of grabbing bacon, you may want to grab some bacon. It is Christmas in July. This is the only time. We've never had this price. Go ask around in our room, ever. And there it is, $24.99 if you use the Apex code, AlgoBox. Show us that you've got an Apex account. We'll hook you up at $24.99. And if you don't want to do Apex or whatever, it's okay. You can still get it for $29.97 as long as you are using a trader funding program. Go hook it up there. That is available only through July 25th. Christmas in July. It's only 10 days. 10-day only event there. Started on the 10th. We'll go through the 25th. We only do this twice a year right now and during the Black Friday event around Christmas. Real Christmas and Christmas in July.
NQ 398.
You can consider this morning speed hard. Might just need to market replay. I personally enjoy the speed. Remember, this is on the ones. You can simply switch this to the twos if you want a different speed. It depends on what you're doing, right? Are you doing full auto Enigma? Are you using the Enigma Cadence strategy? Are you manually trading? Are you a double cross double move player? Are you a PRZ cross player? Are you a sharkback player? Take all those things into account. So when you say, like, does the speed, I mean, still the speed matters. Like right now, it's telling you the speed is too high. But how can I adjust this?
NQ on the 9.
How can I adjust the speed of the market? Change the bar size, right? We talk about that in the speedometer trainings. So you go from Algobar 1s to 2s. Oh, how come we can't see that? Oh, I moved the chart a little bit, and now I just noticed you guys can't see that. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. Is that back in frame? Yes, there we go. Okay. Right about there. Okay. I think I accidentally slip clicked and moved that earlier.
Fib.NQ on the 9.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just initiate. Oh, this is awesome. do we got here? Hi, Vinny. Want to give a shout out to Curtis. I had an issue. He offered to remote instantly. It wasn't necessary, but he was so quick to reach out and helpful. Thank you, guys. Yes, that's awesome. We do have, we have things that we can help you with,
on the 30.
but we also have things that we're not. Like, hey, Vinny, can you teach me how to? Can you show me how to overclock my PC, bro? I'm not. We can't take that liability. Like, there's plenty of videos online for that kind of stuff. That type of thing we can't help you with, but you need some help getting Algobox installed, set up. No worries. Before we remote in, there is a little clause that you have to agree to, and once you've agreed to it, we're happy to help you out. Our guys are super fast, and yeah, they're the best in my opinion.
DCDMNQ on the 1.
Yeah, the whole last person to touch it was to blame.
Lower bands touch NQ on the 30.
You got it. Well, it was great hanging out with you here this morning. I plan to be back this afternoon. They have not called me yet this morning, so hey, that worked out well. So thank you, Lord, for that. It was great hanging out with you here this morning. I'm going to grab some bacon and a coffee. I'm going to let the art team tell you guys how it's done. Thanks for hanging out. For me, Pippi, Robbie, Lunchbot, Mod Squad, Curtis, G, and Eddie B, we are sending out the big H-Town.
Lower bands touch NQ. Speed of NQ 385.
Art team, take it away.
Lower bands touch NQ on the 30. Enigma long on the NQ1.
The old adage where, the individual investor doesn't have a chance because the institutional investor has better technology, better information, and, more money and better opportunity, I don't think it's real anymore. I think the edge is on the individual investor because they're small, they're nimble, they can trade, they can use better front-end technology.
DCDM
Don't waste your time. Leave the technical analysis to us. You just play the game.
Lower band divergence NQ on the 9. Lower band touch on the 30. Speed of NQ 403. Fib.M on the 9.